I'm Alan Robarge, a relationship coach. Welcome to Improve Your Relationships, where I like to talk about attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. And this video is about how you cannot leave or end your current relationship. And in fact, it's part of a series around reasons or mind games that we play with ourselves that keep us stuck. And what I mean by being stuck is that you're paralyzed. You have obsessive thinking that is caught between stay, go, and you have this looping mind that is sometimes trying to convince yourself to stay and sometimes trying to convince yourself to leave, and this perpetuates confusion. You're living in a state of confusion, and it disempowers you. You're living in a state of disempowerment. And it reinforces inaction. You're actually not doing anything except your brain, your mind, your thoughts are looping on themselves. So you are stuck in a bad relationship, and we can use other ways to explain that relationship. Perhaps it's stale, you've grown apart, it's dead, it's hurtful, it's abusive, it's toxic, it's dysfunctional, it's unhealthy. Perhaps it's full of resentment. You and your partner have contempt for each other, and you're living in a state of resentment. You're living in a state of anger. So regardless of the quality of the intensity, you just know that it's over and you're done, but you cannot leave. So this video is to highlight some of the mind games that we play with ourselves to justify staying. It is about our faulty thinking, our rationalizations, our illogical beliefs that keep us stuck. And one way we do this, very specific focus of this video, has to do with catastrophizing. So we like to catastrophize. We frighten ourselves. We frighten ourselves with the extreme outcome that will not be in our favor. And so catastrophizing means thinking the worst. And when we think the worst, it guarantees that we stay stuck in paralysis. It guarantees we don't take action, and it allows us to loop in stay, go, stay, go. Now, here's the thing about catastrophizing. It might all be true. The ideas, the beliefs that you have. We're not arguing that. These might be legitimate concerns, but we're not looking at it objectively if you have to consider a legitimate real-life concern that is going to invite some negativity because you end this relationship. That negativity might be very valid, and you'll have to address that. We're not talking about arguing if you are or are not going to have hardship. What we're talking about is how you use the potential for that hardship to reinforce and frighten yourself and to convince yourself to stay stuck and not take action. Here's some examples of catastrophizing. You will be alone forever. So we frighten ourselves, say, well, I can't end this relationship because it's my very last chance at love. And if this, unhealthy, dysfunctional, less than satisfying, unfulfilled relationship can't remotely deliver a mediocre sense of happiness, well, then how will I ever even be possibly happy in the future? I will be alone forever. You will be alone forever. This is catastrophizing. This is what it means to frighten yourself with these kind of beliefs that keep yourself stuck. Another one is that not only will you be alone, but you will continue to be alone because the truth is, underneath all of this, you are unlovable. And your relationship is ended because it's proof that you are unlovable. And because you're unlovable, you will never be in another relationship. And so therefore, you can frighten yourself and just stay stuck in your current unhealthy, toxic, not going anywhere, dead, stale, resentment-filled relationship. Another consideration that we might bring into our thinking when it has to do with catastrophizing is that if you end your relationship, and perhaps you're married, and you say, if you get a divorce, you are inviting financial ruin. And again, this might be true. We can't argue that. Maybe you are going to have less money. Maybe it is going to tie up some money until you get a divorce and the divorce is solved. Maybe you will need to go back to school and learn a skill and get a job. But using this against yourself to justify staying stuck and staying paralyzed is how you are employing catastrophizing to not take responsibility, not take ownership for your life. You're frightening yourself with the prospect of financial ruin. Along those same lines, you're not alone if you seem to think that you're going to become homeless. Many people think that also. I can't let this relationship end because I will lose my home and then I'm homeless and I'll have no money and also you'll have no friends. That's another way we catastrophize. Your partner is the social one. Your partner is the one that introduced you to the social circle. Perhaps, some of these friendships are related to your partner's work and your partner's job. And so the idea if the relationship ends, not only are you losing your partner, but you're losing the primary social circle of friendships. So you're now no longer going to have friends, and maybe even you're losing in-laws. You're losing the family of your partner. And let's say that you have a relatively good or great relationship with the in-laws. So now you're alone, you're homeless, you have no money, you're financially ruined. And another way you can catastrophize this is that you can't leave this relationship because you're going to bring undue stress and harm to your children. And if you possibly stand up for yourself, if you possibly take responsibility, if you believe in creating a fresh, new, healthier lifestyle for you and your children, you could not do that. You could not possibly do that because you're going to harm your children and you're hurting them and impacting them if in fact you get a divorce or if in fact that you end the relationship. Now again, we're not arguing that. Certainly this is going to impact the children, but you choosing to catastrophize as a justification for you to stay and not take action in your own life, well, that's how you're confusing yourself. That's how you're using illogical thinking to reinforce staying stuck. So here are a couple things to think about to leave your relationship. You need a self. You need to have a differentiated self, a self that goes beyond your current relationship, a self that goes beyond your partner, a self that can see a sense of independence and creating a life beyond the current life. You need a self in order to be able to take action. You need a self. The self is going to take action. So you have to strengthen your sense of self. This is around worth. This is around self-esteem. This is around love. And you have to stop shaming yourself and stop belittling yourself and stop undermining yourself and strengthening a sense of self if you want to leave. Also, what you need to leave is that you need a vision and a plan. We are talking very practical stuff here. If you're going to leave on a Thursday afternoon and rent a U-Haul to move your items across town to a new apartment, well, you have to go to the U-Haul office. You have to go online and search. You have to call someone who works at U-Haul and say, hey, how much does it cost to rent this size of a U-Haul for 3 hours and on a Thursday afternoon? And you need to have very concrete information in order to develop a plan, a very concrete, definite plan. If you're leaving, what the heck does that mean? What does that look like? You need a vision. If you don't have a vision, if you don't have a plan, and you don't have a self, well, then you're not going to be leaving anytime soon. You're going to stay stuck and you're going to stay paralyzed. You also need agency, which we could call will, a sense of will, something that's propelling you. Think of it as the gas in the car. You need energy. The gas in the car, the sense of agency, is that part of you that activates the self to leave, that activates it, gives yourself motivation, gives yourself direction, and says, get off the couch, go to Home Depot, buy some packing boxes, start packing, and create a plan, and move it forward. Agency is the ability to move it forward. So you need a self beyond the partner, and a self beyond the current life. You need a vision and you need a plan that is very concrete, and you need agency, a sense of will to move the plan forward. You also need to be honest with your grief and to keep your grief in check. You cannot implode around this crushing grief that is going to dissipate any agency that you have. The grief can suck the energy away. The grief can reinforce being paralyzed. So you need some skills to attend to the grief and give yourself empathy and give yourself compassion, and to work with the grief and know how to cry and know how to feel, all of the whole range of challenging feelings that come with ending a relationship. But at the same time, you need boundaries around your grief so you do not implode into the grief and then you have no agency. So the agency, asserting will, being able to take action needs to work simultaneously with keeping your grief in check so you do not implode. Now, lastly, if you want to leave this relationship, you need to welcome the unknown. You cannot control the outcome. You cannot be a control freak. You have to be willing to surrender, and to surrender to the unknown. Now, you use your intelligence. You create as best plan as you can. You shore up resources. You create a network of friendships. You get a therapist. You work with someone. You join a group, a grief group, a divorce group, something that's going to help give you some direction and support so that you know that you're not totally alone. But at the end of the day, or when it's time to leave, you do not know how this is going to unfold. You can't control it. If you want to leave, you have to be willing to give up the outcome. You have to take the risk. You have to enter the unknown. So I hope that this was helpful. This video is in a series to talk about different ways that we play mind games with ourselves. This video is about catastrophizing. Please leave a comment here in the comment section. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to see more videos just like this. And check out my website to learn more about the membership site, the community membership site, Improve Your Relationships. Thank you for watching.